Good evening, everyone. For those of you who are at our other presentation regarding College Churchill High School, welcome back. For those of you just joining us for our Hockey Academy Middle Years presentation, my name is Ryan Hughes. I'm the principal of College Churchill High School, and we'd like to thank you for taking some time this evening to join us to hear information about this very unique program that we have running at our school. We've been running this program for a good 6 years now, and it's really developed into a very outstanding program. That's kudos to the staff that it was their vision and also their hard work that have made it into what it is today. So we're really happy that you're here to join us. It was great to see a lot of you out for the open skate last Friday and to connect with parents, but also with to see the students and their excitement about being involved with this and attending our school. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Tim Friesen, who is the director of the Hockey Academy and also one of our teachers. So he'll share a lot of information and look forward to the questions at the end of the evening. So welcome, everyone.
Hi, I'm Tim Friesen, and I run the director of the Hockey Academy, and there's two other staff members there, Kelly Marnock and Matt Barnes, who are teachers in the building as well, and they are there to, sorry, they're there to support the staff, the students up there, and show everybody what it is we do. I'm just going to show you the PowerPoint slideshow right now and walk you through some of the steps of the Hockey Academy and introduce you some things. I'll put it, hang on one second. Okay, so here's the Churchill Hockey Academy 22-23 version. These are the people you've met or I've talked about as well already. Matt and Kelly are with me at the rink, along with a bunch of other staff. Let's start with the most important part, and that's the academics. So the relationship between the school and what we do at the academy is really important. So for College Churchill High School has a long-standing tradition of academic, athletic, and artistic excellence. So the program within our academy model, and our academy model is now to 3 different streams. So we have the Hockey Academy model, the baseball, softball one, and the basketball academy. They're all very different, but we are now becoming an academy school here, and we have a lot of people coming from all over Manitoba to experience what it is that we do here at Churchill. The purpose is to enhance the students' players' confidence, individual playing skills, and opportunities, both academics and athletics. So it's a relationship between athletics and the academics. Students are enrolled in all core curricular academic courses as prescribed by Manitoba Education and Training. So we have the same amount of time inside of our academic classes that you would at any other school. Sometimes we actually exceed some of that time because we don't have as much with the shops area. We do have some shops, but probably not as much as some of the other students would. Our program is designed to help develop the habits of responsible learning and bring a balance of sports education. So if they're having some difficulty with things that are going on in education, we have a conversation. We find a way that we can maybe manage some of that time so that it's focused back onto the academics. That's why the academics piece has to be the priority of all students. So that brings us to the student athlete. So being a student athlete makes for a good hockey player, but developing a strong student athlete makes for a continued success in all aspects of life. I think the connection between being a student athlete is going to transpire later on into whatever they do. Education is the foundation of our program, and we want these athletes to embrace their academic performance using hockey as a tool and motivator to promote academic success. So as you can tell inside of what we're talking about, where our focus at here is on their academics. Yes, there's a big, huge academy piece about being a better hockey player, but we try to connect that together. Some coursework is held off at campus at Southdale Arena, so they will take classes over there for some of the students. This will probably be more so for the grade 7 students. It'll be in English and in French. We'll be over there. So we are there from September. We'll probably start at the school year here in the building, and then we'll eventually go to the rink, and then we'll stay there till probably the end of May. And then we return at school so they can prepare for final exams or whatever else is happening here at school. We will do some other things here as well at school in June, where we'll do some track and field and other sports as well. Academy students have opportunities to join all extracurricular activities at the school. So we have flag football, we have basketball, volleyball, everything is here. And our teams are doing quite well because we have all these little athletes that come to our building, and we have been doing quite well. Students are provided gym at lunch hour, so we have intramurals happening. They have computer and study and library options. Every lunch hour is available to them, so there are labs available, but we also encourage them to be a part of the intramural program. Advanced placement options are available for grades 9 to 12, so it's more of an enriched piece than grade 9, but by the time they get to grade 12, they can write their AP exams. The Churchill Hockey Academy piece. That was the academic piece. This is the academy piece. What does it look like? Well, we're all there for the skill development. Through our academy, we offer opportunities where players can participate in meaningful training, which allows them to develop power, speed, control in relation to individual on-ice performance. We try to get the kids to work until they fail. Like, don't take the easy way out. You're not going to impress anybody or lose ice time if you do something wrong. We're not there to punish you if you do something wrong. We want you to tax your limits. We want to push your limits so you can, that's where you're going to see the growth and development happen. We've had some really good stories come through here. We've had a student that was playing A1 hockey in grade 7 and in grade 10 has been drafted into the WHL. So we've had some people that made some really strong gains inside of our program, and it's those people that really push their limits is where you're going to see that development happen. So on ice, we use our time to work on individual skills, and so we look at stick handling, shooting, passing, deception, agility. Those are just some of the things that we look at. There's a big laundry list of ideas that we try to work on, and because they have almost approximately 100 hours of ice time that they are getting outside of the regular team's practices. We are not there to bag skate kids or anything like that. We're just there to work on the ice piece. The off-ice training, which we'll get to with Mr. Barnes, Matt Barnes is going to come and talk to us about what happens during off-ice, and I'll let him take over for you.
Hello, everyone. Mr. Varnes here. Just going to talk about our off-ice stuff. So our big part of our off-ice is we like to focus on our fundamental movement skills. We move forward generally with a wide variety of workouts, focusing on muscular strength, muscular endurance, our strength, our power, speed. We generally will use most of our body weight exercises early on at the beginning of the year, making sure that we're teaching proper technique before adding our weights as we progress through the season. We do spend a lot of time with our healthy lifestyles unit as prescribed by the Manitoba Education Curriculum to make sure that that they're getting all of what's necessary that they would at any other school. So our supporting coaches include our Jets Hockey Development, who is dedicated to providing the very best opportunity to develop as a hockey player. Their focus is more on the edge work and power skating. They come in a few times per week and get to work with every group that we have for our grade 7s and 8s. Laker Academy, led by Larry Wu, spends some time working on game situation play. His focus is a lot on developing the decision making in game in regards to the speed of the game, trying to speed up their decision making, using the skills that they've learned in our while they've been with Tim and myself and Mr. Marnock, taking those skills and trying to take away their time and space and make them have to make a quick decision and use those skills that they've been taught. Our Byron Spriggs goaltender developments, he comes in and he is only there for our goalies. Him and his staff will come in about 3 times per week and work exclusively with the goalies. They've touched on a number of different units already this year, including some lateral mobility, positioning, rebound control, puck handling, among others. So just a typical week for grade 7 and 8 students would look something like this. So on Monday, they might be with Coach Friesen working on individual skill development, shooting, passing, angles, and hitting. Generally, the hitting aspect will come later on in the year as our grade 7s move on into grade 8 and our grade 8s are moving on into grade 9. With the females, it's more on angling than the hitting aspect. On Tuesdays is a day that they get to work with Jets hockey development, again working on their edge work. Wednesdays they get to come back into the gym or into the weight room, working on fitness. Later on in the year, when it's nicer out, we tend to take them outside and try to play some low organized games with them. On Thursdays, they get to work with myself. We're working on some zone entry, some deception stuff, and some cycling. And Fridays, we generally get to continue with some of the skills, but make it more of a competition, battles, and game day for the students. Larry Wu does mix in there. He does have a very busy schedule, and we do try to get him in once a month, accordingly with his schedule. So I'm going to pass this back on over to Mr. Friesen.
Okay, so registration opens today. You can find the information on our school webpage, or you go to the Hockey Academy page, and on the Hockey Academy page, there's a registration click button. We suggest you do that as soon as possible. We have a lot of interest in the Academy. We expect to have 3 groups of grade 7s and 3 groups of grade 8s. Apply early is our biggest thing. We will try to let people know by spring break, and those who apply after spring break, and we usually have quite a few applying after the fact too, will have second choice in that application process. We do go through all applications, and we will contact schools to make sure that you have what you're saying is correct, and we want to make sure that the students that are coming here are going to be good community members of our school. So now we're going to go take questions from you. So if you have any questions, go to our chat page and you can click on the chat button, and we'll take some questions from you through Mr. Hughes or myself. So that ends this. So one of the questions we get often is what it's like here for the Academy students. What's it like inside the building when they come back here? So for the most part, they're at the rink for most of the morning, so they're here for the afternoon part. There will be a group that goes on the ice and they go directly off the ice. We load them up, we use a beaver bus, and we bring them back here, and we and then they'll mix in to their classes. But for some kids, they'll only get to the building at lunchtime. But inside the building, again, they have basically their own wing, and they are inside of a Millier's wing of students, and so they don't necessarily mix with the rest of the students, although we find it to be a very safe and good place to be. So that's the first one I was answering up top, is how long are students at the rink for? So it'll be grade 8s will be at the rink next year, right at the hop, and so they'll be on the ice from 9 till about 10. They'll be back for about 10:45. The grade 7 students will be in a classroom right away, so they'll be there, and you can feel free to drop them off after 7:15 if you like, if it works out better for rides. And then they're there till they go on the ice at about 10:45, and they get back at about 12:10, just in time for lunch. Our lunch is 12:10 in our building. What are the additional costs? So the cost will be about $2,100, and that's to help pay for the ice, the bus, all the instructors that are there. So that's really what it costs. There are no additional costs other than that piece there. So the question is, are students only in the class with hockey students? No, there are some students in there, but it's mostly hockey academy students. So right now there'd be like a class of 25 students, and about 20 of them will be hockey academy students. Next year, we anticipate that there'll be approximately 130 hockey academy students in grade 7 and 8 alone, and so that'll make up a big chunk of the students inside of our middle years classes. I'm just going through here. Hang on. So the students are not on the ice 5 mornings a week. So they are only on about 3 times a week, and they're doing dry land and gym the other days. Sometimes it'll be 4 times, but most of the time it's 3 times a week. So they don't skate every single day. They do get in approximately 100 hours, but that takes you from September till the end of May. So they're getting that time is just spread out. We try not to tax them too much. When we first started the program, we did have them on the ice 5 times a week, and we found that to be too much for them. So the question was, does it matter what level of hockey your child is in? Does it help to get them into the program? Well, first of all, we take a look at kids in the catchment. So the catchment area kids get in automatically. They're first in. Then after that, we take a look at your academic standings. It becomes most important to us. So we're taking a look at that. And then we take a look at hockey as well. So inside the academy, we do sometimes stream the students into abilities. Sometimes we mix them all together. We change up our groupings quite often, so the kids get a chance to play with different people. And there's good reasons to change up the groupings for them and to have them compete against different levels. But there are times when we need to have it streamed a little bit to the stronger side or weaker side of the game until they develop those skills. How many goalies are in each group? We are looking at right now at 2 goalies right now at each group. We do have goalie instruction there quite often. So depending on what the drill is, they might pull them aside and do something for that time, or they might put them into the drills that we are running with the skaters and then pull them out at whenever they feel it is important. So again, what is the cost? Someone was asking, is $2,100 this year. That will cover off all expenses inside there. We haven't raised it for many years, and this year with all the COVID stuff, we've raised it by $100, which we're trying to keep it as cheap as possible, which still equals quite cheap when you talk about how many hours of ice and how many days of instruction they are at the rink. It is probably the cheapest program you're going to find anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's summer or winter. And for the quality of coaching that we have coming in there, from Jets Hockey Development to Larry Academy with Larry Wu and ourselves as well. So I think it's a really good program for the cost that you're getting. Where do students store the equipment? So in the building, so they come back again, like I said, we go on a Beaver bus, so we load underneath the bus. When they get back here, we unload it, and we have a storage place downstairs. It's vented out, so we have a room for middle school students, and we have a separate room for high school students, and they get to open up their bags. They can hang up their equipment if they choose, and then once they're in there, we shut the doors and turn on the big vents to suck out all that bad smell. What time do they need to be dropped off at the rink? They don't need to be at the rink until about 8:30. But like I said, sometimes it helps people for work and stuff to drop them off early. The rink opens up at 7:15, so feel free to drop them off at that time. Pickup as well. Our school day ends at 3:20, so we have a separate door that they go in when they come off the bus, and that's also where they get picked up. And when they get picked up at 3:20, if they can't make it at 3:20, it's not a big deal, and they can be picked up anytime after. But that's when school day ends. Can you please clarify how long a grade 7 student will be at the rink on ice and in classes? So at the rink, they will have about an hour and a half in the classroom, and then they will have an hour on the ice, and then they'll change, get ready for school, and load up on the bus and get back here. It's not really a far bus ride. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes for the bus to get back to the school. They'll unload their stuff and then get back to, they'll have, actually for the grade 7s, they'll have lunch, and then they go back to other programming for the afternoon, for the other academic programming. But they'll have taken 2 subjects at the arena during that time. Do the kids shower between practice and class? Yes, the shower facilities are available to them, and we encourage them to shower before they get back here, and everybody does. It's just when they come back to the rink, it will be a bad experience for themselves and for everybody around them if they don't shower. So most kids want it, and so we've made sure that's available to them. How many hockey players per group? You said there's 3 groups. Yeah, so we'll probably have about 20 skaters, and then plus goalies inside there as well. So 20 skaters and some goalies as well. That's what we're sort of gearing towards. But we haven't finalized all the numbers each time. This year we have a little less. We have about 18, 19 skaters, and then goalies on top of that. So depending on the year, we might have a few more goalies. Ideally, we like to see 3 goalies in a group. It helps for lots of things that we're doing on the ice, and it also allows the goalie coach to pull them out and talk to the goalies individually. So is to talk about how can you experience other sports if they will no longer have gym. Well, we actually do some of the gym stuff there as well. So they'll do some track and field them right there at the arena. So we'll use the field right next door. They also have intramurals, so they'll experience basketball and volleyball at that time. And then we have times when we're not on the ice, for example, in part of May and June, where they get to have other experiences as well. But that's one of the reasons why we encourage them to have sports at lunchtime, is to be involved in that. And we encourage them to have after school sports, just because they're here. They can, if their practices might be at lunchtime or they might be after school, and they're right in the building, and they can have their sport. They can have their basketball or volleyball and then go home after that. But we have a lot of kids that have done both. They play hockey, plus they're on our volleyball team or basketball team as well. Yeah. Is there a minimum academic standing required to be maintained? That's more of a individual basis. So someone might be an A student, and they might have difficulty by doing sports and school, and so we just encourage them to try to keep that level up. And some people might be a C student, and that's what they're capable of. And so whatever your standards are, we're not going to fine you or tax you because you are not being an A student. We're not punishing you for not being an A student, but we just want you to be your best. And if your best happens to be a C, then that's good for us. If you're an A student, then we're going to push you to keep you to be that A student. Okay, so I think we're going to end the questions there. If you do have any more questions, please feel free to contact the school, myself, or Susan Choddiker. Our names or emails are listed on the webpage. But again, I really encourage you to apply early if you're interested in our program. We anticipate that it will be full and there will be waiting lists. Last year, we unfortunately could not take everybody that applied, so we just encourage you to apply as soon as possible. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you.